In the past 100 days, I've helped wholesalers like you make $100,000 wholesaling real estate virtually. And the best part is, all of these wholesalers were brand new. I helped Manare make $1,000 wholesaling this ugly house in Burleson, Texas. Ryan Binion brought me a wholesale deal and I sold it. And we made $6,000 on this Fort Worth ugly house. Kylie brought me a wholesale deal in Dallas, Texas. This 3-2 brick house and we made $10,000. But not to be beat, my boy Shanks brought me a house in Dallas, Texas. This ugly house that made us $15,000. But everyone, it's not just houses that you can wholesale. It's also land. Yeah, this dirt lot right here that we're gonna make $25,000 on. And guess who brought it to me? What's up, Ryan? Let's go. What's up, bro? And this was just 5 of the 15 deals that I helped these wholesalers get in the past 100 days. And there's 2 things that all of these deals have in common. These are all brand new wholesalers, probably just like you. But more importantly than that, every single one of these wholesalers were virtual. Some live in Texas, just outside of Dallas, Fort Worth. Some live in other states like Detroit, Michigan. Some even live in other countries. My boy Ryan lives in Canada. In this video, I am going to teach you how to wholesale virtually. My name is Maximilian Deer. I've been a real estate investor since I was 18 years old and I own a 7-figure wholesaling company. But more importantly that, I have a wholesaling community called The Wholesalers, which you should absolutely join, where I teach wholesalers everything they need to know about acquisition wholesaling. But before we get into how to acquire wholesale properties virtually, and I'm gonna give you my exact steps that I have used to teach 600 plus wholesalers how to wholesale real estate. But before we get into that, what the heck is wholesaling? Simply put, wholesaling is when you get a property under contract from a seller and you assign that contract to an investor, and you, the wholesaler, make an assignment fee. This $100,000 that I and these wholesalers have made is in the form of assignment fees. They got paid for finding the wholesale deals and getting them under contract, and I got paid for selling the wholesale deals to investors. So wholesaling real estate, all it is, it's not selling real estate, it's selling contracts. And the beauty of wholesaling is that if you do it right, you can do it with essentially no risk, with no money out of your pocket, but more importantly, you can do it virtually. You can do it from your house, from your apartment, or from your mom's basement. But it's not so simple. All of these gurus who charge you thousands or tens of thousands, even 6 figures for these wholesaling courses, they don't tell you a couple things. Before I get into on-market and off-market wholesaling, DTS strategies like cold calling and texting, lists, skip tracing, and scripts. Before I get into any of that, there are 2 things that you just have to understand. To wholesale successfully, you don't need to be in person, boots on the ground in the city in which you're moving properties, but somebody has to be. And that somebody needs to be your disposition partner. As I explained, wholesaling is made up of 2 parts. It's made up of finding the deals from the seller and getting the sellers under contract. There needs to be someone that does dispositions, someone that takes that contract and then assigns it to an end buyer, an investor. 95% of wholesalers are doing acquisitions. They're going and getting contracts. There's a small group of large players like myself who do dispositions. It's a very different business and it's very resource intensive. I have over 20 full-time agents. We are opening up multiple offices. It's a very, very cutthroat business. And that's why most wholesalers, especially when you start, you're doing acquisitions. Because you can do this on your own with little to no money, and most importantly, virtually. So now that you understand that there's 2 sides of the business, the 2 things you have to understand before I explain to you the step-by-step guide of how to wholesale virtually, what you need to understand is choose one market and only choose a market where you have a good dispo partner. So you're probably thinking,
Max, I'm so ready to wholesale virtually, but Where do I start?
Guys, you have to start in a market. Choose one city. One city. Jacksonville, Florida, Los Angeles, California, or join me in DFW, Texas. But only choose a city where you have a good dispositions partner. The problem with most wholesalers, and reason why most wholesalers end up just quitting, is because they get properties under contract, but then they can't sell them. Because a wholesaler can't be doing acquisitions and dispositions both. You need to just start with acquisitions and let someone like me do the dispo. So choose a market where you have a trusted dispo partner that will help you. And if you want to get started wholesaling right now, I mean, after this video, of course, then join my free Discord community, Wholesale in DFW, and I promise you, I will help you get your first deal, your second deal, your 100th deal, and I will help you make serious life-changing money. Not only will I help you, our community will help you. We have an amazing community. And when you do get a hot lead, you can submit it right here and my team will comp it and help you get the property under contract. Although you can wholesale alone, wholesale with a community. And best of all, wholesale with a community that will help you sell your deals. So anyways, those are the two things that you just absolutely have to understand before you want to start wholesaling virtually. You need to make sure that you choose one market, just one market, and that you have a partner that you can trust that will sell your deals. If you have those two things, then you are now ready to start making real money wholesaling virtually. Now that you have everything set up, you need to figure out how you're going to generate your wholesale leads. How are you going to find sellers who want to sell their house or their land? Well, let's separate that into two main buckets: off-market and on-market. On-market wholesaling means that you find properties that are on MLS. You can go to just like Zillow, find a house that needs work, like this house in an amazing location, but dude, it is so ugly. Like, what is that? What the heck? This looks like the back rooms, but that's exactly what you want. So you could call up that realtor on the ugly house, send them an offer. If they accept, you or your dispo partner can then sell that offer to an investor and you could make $1,000, $5,000, $7,500, $10,000, or maybe even $25,000. That is how you wholesale on market. But between us, usually the best deals are off market. They're people who have not yet listed their home for sale. It's usually not your typical homeowner. It's usually someone who's in distress. Someone who is so motivated to sell that you just caught them at the right time and they want to sell now at a discount. Now, who would those people be? Your number one list is pre-foreclosures. People who are behind on paying their mortgage and the bank is about to take their house away from them. You come in 30, 20, 15, 10 days before the auction and you say, hey, I'm gonna buy your house right now before the bank forecloses on you, destroys your credit, makes it so that you cannot buy another house for, I don't know, a decade. I'm gonna come in and buy your house, but hey, I'm so sorry. The best I can pay is $130,000. But the alternative is your life being ruined by the big bad bank. That's your best list, pre-foreclosures. But there's a ton of other lists that you can reach out to, a ton of other categories of distressed sellers. Editor, let's put them right here. So you got pre-foreclosures, but what about probate listings? No, not prostate, probate. People who have died. That's another good list. I mean, don't reach out to the dead people, but their relatives. What about people who have just gone through a divorce? Yep, when you go through a divorce, you likely are gonna sell your house. I'm actually working on a divorce deal right now. It's a house about an hour south of downtown Dallas, and it's a beautiful old mansion that the seller is selling on a fire sale because unfortunately he's just gone through a divorce. It's sad, it's terrible, but they don't have the time to sell the house on the market. Their divorce is finalized here in like 2-3 weeks and they want to sell the house now. They want to be done with it. The house is bad memories. They don't want anything to do with it anymore. They want the house gone. And you come in and you don't buy homes, you sell solutions. But we'll get into that in a second. But there's so many more lists: eviction, airship, loan modifications, tax sales, utilities. Guys, there's so many people out there who are in desperate need for you to just offer to buy their house. But how the heck do you offer? How do you get a hold of these people?
Max, there's people who need help, but how do I get a hold of them?
Well, that comes into the strategies of acquisition wholesaling. But we're talking about virtual wholesaling. So 2 of my favorite acquisition strategies are out. You cannot go door knocking because you're not local, and you cannot be putting out bandit signs. So you need to focus on virtual strategies. My favorites are cold calling, texting, sending mailers, and doing PPC and PPL advertisements. But the 2 latter options, sending direct mail and doing advertisements, guys, that's a bit expensive. In my opinion, you need at least $5,000 to $10,000 saved up in order to do direct mail or to do PPL effectively. PPC, you should at least have $20,000 to $30,000 saved up. So if you're not at that point yet, that's okay. Close a few wholesale deals virtually by doing text blasting and cold calling campaigns. And then you can scale into different acquisition strategies. So now you have 2 ways to reach out to sellers. You can either do on market by reaching out to realtors. That option is 100% free and is honestly the easiest, but you're going to make less money on each deal. It's not often you hit home runs slinging deals on MLS. Usually you're gonna make, I don't know, 5K pops. But here and there, you do hit that home run. I just moved a $35,000 assignment fee on Zillow. The deal was on Zillow and we moved a $35,000 deal. $35,000. But it takes a while to know what to look for. But you will also get there, I promise. But anyways, the first thing you're going to want to do if you want to target off market is you're going to want to pull a list, and then you're either going to want to text it or call it.
But Max, how do you pull a list?
Well, there's a ton of different ways, but the most common ways is to use a software like Deal Machine. There's also a ton of other options like PropStream or Privy. But if you use Deal Machine, I can get you a 7-day free trial if you use the code SOUP at checkout. Yeah, SOUP, S-O-U-P. My dog is named Soup. So go ahead and use a software like Deal Machine and you can pull lists to call or text. But even if you don't want a 7-day free trial, you don't want to sign up for anything, if you hop into my free Discord and you click lists, here I have 17,000 skip traced numbers ready for you to call. Look at all these numbers. They keep going and going and going and going. My company paid 5 figures for this data, but I'm giving it to you for free, so please go and use it. But did you hear what I said? I said skip traced. What does skip traced mean? The lists you usually will get, they're not going to have phone numbers attached to them. So in order to get phone numbers, you actually have to skip trace the lists. You have to run it through the software that will check the addresses and the names of the people on the list and then go and get their information, their contact information. You'll get their phone numbers and you'll also even get their email if you want to email blast them. But the best skip tracing service, in my opinion, is Skip Matrix. Just get your list, put it in here, and it will skip trace and it'll give you super accurate data. And if you want 10% off at Skip Matrix, use code SOUP. You don't have to use Skip Matrix. There's a ton of other skip tracing softwares. I just found that their data is super accurate. And yes, you're gonna pay a little bit more money, but accurate data is worth it. Honestly, when you're making thousands and thousands of dollars per deal, it's worth just paying a few more pennies to get accurate data. So now that you have lists, now you gotta either just pick up the phone and start calling them, or you gotta text them. However, I do not recommend that you use your personal cell phone. If you do that, you'll get marked as spam. So I recommend that you get a dialer. It's like an online phone number. Most people use Google Voice because it's 100% free, and you can use Google Voice, but it's not the best. So I recommend that you go and find a dialer for like 10, 20, 30 bucks a month. You don't need any crazy triple line power dialers. Just get something simple. It will give you a phone number and then you can just start making calls and texts. And that's the basics, everybody. You can get fancy and I can teach you all that. I can teach you how to do AI cold calling campaigns, fancy drip sequences, or I can even teach you how to do text blasts. But guys, at first, just pick up the dang phone and start making calls. But Max, what do I say? Ha! Guys, I got scripts. I got scripts for everything you could possibly need. And I will give you those. But at the end of the day, everybody, all you're doing is having an honest conversation with the seller. And most importantly, you're trying to locate their motivation. What is their pain point? And once you discover their pain point, you can then sell a solution. Most of the time, the solution can be solved with cash and cash quickly, but sometimes that won't work and you may need to get creative. And that's where I teach you how to do creative wholesaling and creative investing. Sometimes you're going to have to do subject to, sometimes you're going to have to do seller financing, sometimes you're even going to have to do a novation, which is what I'm trying to do with that divorce property I just talked to you about. I'm going to do a novation, and I can teach you all those strategies, but you'll learn that while you go. Your job is to just get on the dang phone, send some text messages, see who is interested in selling, be kind to them, see what their pain point is, and then just ask them a few questions. Okay, you ready? Take some notes here, everybody, because this is better than any script you can ever get. Seller, what do you think your house is worth?
My house is worth $650,000 because that's what the Zestimate says.
I completely understand, and your house really could be worth that much money, but that's going to require doing $100,000 plus in rehab. In addition, you'd have to pay realtor commissions of 6%, and you'd have to pay 2% in closing costs, and it would take you months and months and months to sell the house. And who knows what you'd even sell it at.
Yeah, but my house is, it's worth it. I just know it.
I completely understand, but let me ask you a little bit of a different question. What do you want to get out of the sale of your house?
Oh, well, I just want $30,000. It's enough money for me to move.
Guys, that's the key. It's not just asking the seller what the house is worth, it's what they want to get out of the sale of their property. Most times these sellers have mortgages. Maybe that guy had a $620,000 mortgage. He just wants 30 grand to pay off some credit card debt and to move out of his house. What you want to ask them is, what do you want out of the sale of your home? What are you trying to get out of selling your house? And then start to ask questions to discover their pain point. The house I'm working on in South Dallas, the house that I'm working on, the seller, he just wants $10,000 cash. That's all he wants. Although the house is worth substantially more, he just wants $10,000 cash. And then we're gonna work out the rest. That's how we can get creative, and that's how we can find solutions. Figure out what they need. And then you obviously got to figure out the other little details, like how much in repairs does the house need? What's their timeline? And then there's a couple other details that you just have to figure out, like how much in repairs does the property need and what's their timeline? Like when do they want to sell? But that's all it is, everybody. That's all it is. Once you get that information, I can then help you write an offer. And how you write an offer is really simple. You take the potential value of the property and then you multiply that by 70%. And then you subtract the repairs. So there you have it. That's my honest step-by-step guide on how to acquire wholesale properties virtually. If you apply every single one of these things and seriously just put the reps in, spend the time and put in the hard work, I promise you, within the next 90 days, you will get your first wholesale deal and you will get paid. Best of all, you'll get paid from wherever you are, anywhere in the world. Wholesaling, yes, it can be done virtually. I have helped wholesalers make over $100,000 in the past 100 days wholesaling real estate 100% virtually. From the bottom of my heart, I believe in you. All right, everyone, that's the end of this video. If you appreciated it, please subscribe to the channel. It means a lot to me. And also share this video with another struggling wholesaler. I hope to see you in my free Discord community, and I hope to help you get your next wholesale deal 100% virtually. Peace, everybody. Bye.